Today, we're diving into the epic, action-packed, and sometimes chaotic world of the Transformers movies. You've probably noticed that there are a lot of different types of Transformers in these films. But have you ever wondered just how many types of Transformers have been featured in the movies? Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's start with the basics. Transformers are sentient robotic beings from the planet Cybertron. They can transform into vehicles, animals, and even everyday objects. They're divided into two main factions: the heroic Autobots, led by Optimus Prime, and the villainous Decepticons, led by Megatron. But within these factions, there are so many different types of Transformers, each with unique abilities, designs, and roles. Transformers can be categorized in a few ways: by their faction, Autobots or Decepticons, by their alt mode, what they transform into, and by their role or class. Let's start with the most common types we've seen in the movies. First up, the Autobots. These are the good guys, and they're all about protecting life and freedom. The most iconic Autobots include Optimus Prime. Few leaders in fiction command as much respect and admiration as Optimus Prime. The fearless leader of the Autobots has been a beacon of hope, wisdom, and unwavering courage for decades. But what makes Optimus Prime the ultimate leader? Why do Autobots and even some Decepticons recognize his strength? Today, we dive deep into the legacy of Optimus Prime, the greatest Autobot leader who transforms into a semi-truck, and Bumblebee, who's usually a Camaro. But there are so many more, like Ironhide, the weapons specialist, Ratchet, the medic, and Jazz, the cool, sleek sports car. Over the course of the movies, we've seen dozens of Autobots, each with their own unique personality and design. On the other side, we have the Decepticons. These guys are all about power and domination. Megatron, their leader, usually transforms into a tank or a jet. Then there's Starscream, the treacherous second-in-command who's often an F-22 Raptor. Other notable Decepticons include Soundwave, the communications expert, Devastator, the massive combiner, and Barricade, the police car who loves causing chaos. The Decepticons are just as diverse as the Autobots, if not more so. Now, let's talk about some of the specialized types of Transformers we've seen in the movies. These guys don't just fit into the basic Autobot or Decepticon categories. They have unique roles and abilities that make them stand out. The Knights of Cybertron are an ancient order of Transformers dedicated to protecting their civilization. In The Last Knight, we met Dragonstorm, a massive three-headed dragon formed by the combined power of multiple knights. First up, the Dinobots. These guys are a fan favorite. They transform into dinosaurs, and they're as fierce as they are awesome. The most famous Dinobot is Grimlock, who turns into a T-Rex. We first saw the Dinobots in Transformers: Age of Extinction, and they've been stealing scenes ever since. Next, we have the Combiners. These are groups of Transformers that can merge together to form one giant robot. The most famous Combiner is Devastator, made up of the Constructicons. But there's also Superion, made up of aerial bots, and others like Bruticus and Menasor. Combiners are a huge deal in the Transformers universe because they're incredibly powerful and, let's be honest, really cool to watch. Some Transformers don't just have one alternate mode, they have two. These are known as triple changers, and we saw them in action in the Bumblebee movie with Shatter and Dropkick, who could switch between aerial and ground modes. Then there are the Beastformers like Predacons, who transforms into a dragon. These Transformers take on animal forms, and they're some of the most visually striking characters in the franchise. They're usually incredibly powerful and have a more primal, savage edge to them. Let's not forget the Seekers and Aerial Bots, Transformers that specialize in aerial combat. Starscream is the most famous Seeker, but there are others like Thundercracker and Skywarp. These guys are usually Decepticons, but the Autobots have their own flying warriors, like Jetfire and the Aerial Bots. In Age of Extinction, humanity developed a new breed of Transformers using a material called transformium. This led to the creation of KSI drones, and eventually, the rebirth of Megatron as Galvatron, a Transformer who could change form at will without traditional transformation sequences. Now let's talk about the unsung heroes or villains of the Transformers movies. These are the background characters who don't get much screen time, but still add to the richness of the universe. Characters like Wheelie, the tiny, wisecracking Autobot, or Brains, the nerdy little guy who helps out in Dark of the Moon. There are also countless unnamed Transformers who show up in the big battle scenes, each with their own unique designs and alt modes. The Transformers 1 movie also introduced us to Quintessons, mysterious aliens who claims to be the leaders of the Cybertron. Though not a Cybertronian themselves, her servants, such as Sentinel, serve as a new type of Transformer under her control. So, after all that, how many types of Transformers have been featured in the movies? Well, it's hard to give an exact number because new Transformers are introduced in almost every film. But if we count all the Autobots, Decepticons, Dinobots, Combiners, Beastformers, Seekers, and background characters, we're looking at hundreds of unique Transformers across the entire movie franchise. Each one brings something new to the table, whether it's a unique design, a cool alt mode, or a memorable personality. You might be wondering, why are there so many types of Transformers? Well, it's all about diversity and creativity. The Transformers universe is massive, and the movies aim to showcase as much of it as possible. Plus, having so many different types of Transformers allow for endless storytelling possibilities. Whether it's a giant combiner wreaking havoc or a tiny, quirky Autobot providing comic relief, there's something for everyone. Did we miss any of your favorites? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next time, roll out.